I would just like to remind us that the theme was reaching the highest echelons of science. Ask yourself, so we talked about group aspirations, Dr. Nusrat spoke about this. Often what I will do in a division meeting, for example, at work, is and a retreat, is I'll ask people to take out their phones. And you don't have to do this now in the interest of time, but take out their phones and go to your notes page and write down your aspirations for the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, based on what you've learned today. What would you like to do? Where would you like to be? And then hold on to them, review them in 6 months, a year, and see whether you've made progress towards those aspirations, how you've refined them. I think we have to be progressive in that respect, individually as well as a group. We have to work together, as we heard on multiple occasions. You have to have a passion for this business. It's not a tentative thing. It's not, if I have time, I'll do this, or this is kind of a weekend pursuit. You have to be in it for the long haul. And we've heard about the companions of the Battle of Badr of recent from Hazrat Khalifatul Masih. That was an epic battle that changed the face of history. Not every battle that we undertake in science or medicine or scholarship will end like the Battle of Badr. We won't always get our paper accepted or our grant accepted or our application accepted, but our eventual goal should be a Badr. Our final goal should be a Badr. And so you're in it for the long haul. I'd like to tell you that the attendance, by the grace of Allah Ta'ala, did not go down. It was, can you guess? 500, very close. Based on registration only, and I'm told that we ended registration at lunchtime for the men, was 485. So, alhamdulillah. And there were 257 Lajna and Nasirat, 228 from among the men, including some guests. And I'm not sure if the guests had registered. I want to tell you, this year we had something really special, and this was with approval from respected Amir Saab. It was to allow students from anywhere in the U.S. to travel to the Quran and Science, to at least help defray the cost of travel with $200 each scholarships. And we gave out 20 of them this year. And I know time is short, but I think that we'll all appreciate knowing who came and received these scholarships. I'm going to ask Zaid Saifullah Saab and Shurjeel Chaudhry Saab, and I'm going to do thank yous in a few minutes. You'll see there was a tremendous team that worked on all of these aspects of planning over the last 2.5 months. And then after that, I'd like for the ladies to name the recipients of the travel awards, if that's possible. And so, if you can please come up to the stage. Mansoor Bhatti Saab. And Mansoor Bhatti Saab is a PhD candidate. These travel awards were for students and trainees. Learning is at any age. He just submitted his thesis. Athar Malik Saab from Boston. Tosif Khan Saab from the University of Toronto. We made an exception for a Canadian this year. Umar Bajwa Saab. And this is for both the men and the women for the next three. New York Queens brought, I think, about 7 or 9 vans that were filled with young people. And they also mentioned 2 SUVs. And so may I ask a representative, either Aslam Saab, Regional Qaid, Finance Secretary Brooklyn. Okay. Yes, please, both of you, please come up. So Regional Qaid Saab texted me and said, I want every student to get exposed to Quran and science. And the Thair Academies jumped in. And so may Allah Ta'ala bless their efforts and their travel. And let's hear from the lady side, if that is feasible, briefly.
So from the ladies' side, we have Asma Awan for the Travel Award, and she came from California. And we have Asna Khalid, who also came from California, and also was a recipient of the Abdul Salam Science Fair Award as well. And we have Aiza, who also came from California, a young, inspiring member who is looking forward to, pursuits in research. And then we have Huma from North Jersey.
Jazakallah. What I'd like to also tell you is that Amir Sahab had granted us the opportunity to raise funds for these travel awards. And I saw this as an opportunity to debunk the myth or allegation that women in Islam are not given important duties. Of course, they have the greatest duty, which we cannot have, which is to raise an entire generation. However, they, in addition to that, they have multiple other duties. And here was another important one, which was that they were given the charge to raise the funds for the travel awards for both of us, since this was a joint venture. And I was really overcome with emotion because just within 1 week, they raised half the funds, mostly from women. And now I think it's up to us as the men to emulate them. And if there are members who would like to contribute to the travel award, you're welcome to do so, and please see me offline. I'd also like to tell you that this organization runs on a pretty bootstrap budget. It's really Quran and Science, Abdul Salam Science Fair right now. Those are the only budgetary requirements. They're pretty lean, probably about $1,500, not including the travel awards for the Quran and Science, plus some other aspects of paraphernalia for the Abdul Salam Science Fair. We'd really like to increase our game and do the things that Huzur has asked us in a recent mulaqat, which is to be present in booths, at ijtimas, at jalsas, to make a presence in the Jamaat so that people know that we exist, and that and to encourage young people to pursue research. And so I'd like to tell you that the annual dues are $100 for those who are active faculty or in industry. If you're retired, if you're a student, a trainee, then it's only $20 per year. I'd like to give Abdul Majid Shah Sahib 2 minutes, and I presume he's in the audience, to tell about the database. So Abdul Majid Shah Sahib is our outreach director, and he wanted a couple of minutes, exactly maybe 120 seconds, to tell you about
Even less than that, because
about
I
the
didn't prepare
database.
anything. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. We all heard our beloved Hazrat Khalifatul Masih's message to all of us, especially to our young generation. And in the light of that, he has asked us to develop collaboration among the scientists, among the engineers, among the people who are working in various areas somewhere in the world. So we are going to develop, inshallah ta'ala, in USA, a subject matter experts network. It will be the people who are working in science and technology areas, and we will cluster them under various subject matter expertise which are developing in the future. You know, the most critical technologies in the future, what is forthcoming, and what our next generation should be trained in so that they become relevant. So inshallah ta'ala, with the help of our Adil Malak Sahab and our General Secretary, Dr. Ejaz Ahmed Sahab, inshallah ta'ala, we're going to establish a science and technology subject matter experts network. You will listen from me, inshallah ta'ala, with the next few weeks. Jazakumullah.
MashaAllah, they're such vigorous members in our association. I'd like to tell you that there will be a feedback form that you'll receive by email. You can also go online on our main website, www.muslimscientists, one word and in the plural, muslimscientists.org. And the main homepage will now have a feedback form. Please fill out that feedback form. We'd be really grateful for feedback. If you haven't registered, please register so we can count you into our attendance. And at this point, just before I hand it to our distinguished moderator for concluding remarks, I'd like to give thanks to many people. And if I've forgotten someone, my sincere apologies. There have been so many who have been involved. I had to keep a list, but even that list is somewhat non-exhaustive. I want to especially thank President of the Ahmadiyya Women Scientists Association, Dr. Nusrat Sharif, who was the executive for raising funds for the planning of this Quran and Science Symposium. You heard the zeal from her. Of course, respected National Amir Saab was our patron and had been in touch with us throughout this planning. Masood Malik Saab, Naib Amir Saab, who's sitting here in the audience, specifically asked that he wanted to stay in the audience, even though we wanted him to be with us here in the front. And he's been our advisor for many years, including at this juncture. Dr. Kareem Sharif has been an advisor as the vice president. Zad Saifullah Saab, and if these members are here, if they can stand up at the time they're called. Zad Saifullah Saab is in the background on the side here. He's our Nazim program. And so if you like that online program, we can thank him for constructing the structure of the program. Naib Nazim program was Shurjeel Chaudhry Saab, Jazakallah. Abdul Majid Shah Saab was the Nazim outreach for the Quran and Science Symposium, as well as for our general outreach. And so if you've received emails from him for Jummah announcements and for outreach, alhamdulillah, there's fruit from this outreach. Haris Qureshi Saab was his Nazim outreach. Please stand up. Jazakallah. Zafar Ahmed Malik Saab, Nazim Logistics, and these are all, many of them are students who are taking exams, going through the motions of college. And so Jazakallah to him for jumping right in to serve as Nazim Logistics at a time when we were really in search of one. Usman Khalid Saab is doing logistics, Naib Nazim Logistics. Adil Malik Saab is our finance secretary as well as Nazim website and registration. So if you like the layout, you can thank him. And Khalid Ahmed Hussain Saab, please stand up, is the Naib Nazim website registration. Ijaz Ahmed Saab, he stepped out. Ijaz Ahmed Saab was here earlier, our Nazim for the Chemistry Kitchen and Nasrat Atfal Jeopardy, General Secretary and Publication Secretary of the Men's Association. Khulud Sharif Saiba on the ladies' side served as the Nasrat Atfal Jeopardy Coordinator, put together the questions that were really interesting. I'm going to mention some of the ladies as well because they've just been very involved and they're part of our overall co-hosted team. And just so you know, when we sent a message to Huzur for prayers, Huzur responded and said he was happy to see that this was being co-hosted by both organizations. And so Alifia Ahmed Saiba, an officer in the women's side, Dr. Novira Chaudhry Saiba, Dr. Novira Tahir Saiba, also former president, Mayat Qureshi Saib, website and website team, Abir Sharif Saib, website team, Munib Sharif, who really ran the laptop, Jazakallah, to this young team. Ibshar Khandakar, if you've seen the e-blasts, they come out through Ibshar Khandakar Saib, who's in Texas, and he's our e-blast editor. Dr. Amjad Chaudhry Saib, tirelessly working towards food, and you can look at the menu online. You can see how much work and effort was put in, and his team. Nair Ahmed Khokar Saib, who I think was here earlier, if not now, and he involved with the Chemistry Kitchen. Dr. Idris Munir Saib from Silicon Valley was an advisor. Mansoor Ahmed Saib, photographer, and Jawad Malik Saib and Asim Saib as Nazim AV and MTA. And there may be many others. Tayyiba Bhatti Saiba for the finance secretary on the women's side who collected the funds for the travel awards.